It's 5:47 a.m. in zip code 10004, Lower Manhattan. You aren't awake yet, but your debt is. It's breathing. It's compounding at a weighted average cost of capital that you couldn't calculate if your life depended on it. You believe you live in a world of choices. You choose your career. You choose your 401k contribution percentage, maybe 6%, because that's where the employer match tops out. You think you're building a future. You are wrong. You are not a builder. You are a liquidity event. You are a data point in a BlackRock risk assessment model. You are the yield that pays for someone else's carried interest. This is the architecture of the American dream. A cold, clinical design where the math always wins and the variables, people like you, are entirely stay-at-home expendable. Last night, you missed your daughter's final piano recital. You were in the office until 11:30 p.m., fixing a DCF model for a mid-market private equity exit. You didn't do it for the bonus. You did it because the system demands total oration. The recital is a sunk cost. The missed memories are non-operating expenses. They don't appear on a balance sheet, so in the eyes of the machine, they never happened. You're about to see the plumbing, the pipes that carry the wealth of nations away from the hands that create it and into the vaults of the ghosts who own the silence. Level 1. The small gear. Welcome to the bottom. Level 1. The small gear. The illusion of participation. You arrive at your desk in zip code 60606, the West Loop, Chicago. You are an associate. You believe you are on the fast track. Your salary is $125,000. On paper, you are the top 10%. In reality, you are a pass-through entity. Your income is a temporary guest in your bank account before it is redistributed to your landlord, your creditors, and the federal government. You take a quarter tab of Xanax at 10 a.m. It's a business expense. It keeps your heart rate stable while you audit 10K filings for a REIT that owns the very apartment building you rent. You are literally paying yourself to work. You've been told the 401k is your ticket to freedom. You check your Vanguard portal twice a day. You see the numbers go up. What you don't see are the 85 basis points in expense ratios and the underlying volatility suppressed by institutional selling. You are the small gear. Your job is to ensure the friction in the system remains low. You spend 40 hours a week updating spreadsheets, so a managing director can spend 40 minutes pitching a merger that will result in 4,000 layoffs. 2 weeks ago, your fiancée ended it. She said you weren't present. You didn't argue. You couldn't. You were calculating the tax loss harvesting strategy for a client who hasn't stepped foot in the Midwest in a decade. The system doesn't hate you. It doesn't know you exist. You are simply providing the liquidity required for the next level of the pyramid to remain solvent. You are trading your youth for a Roth IRA that you won't be allowed to touch without penalty for another 35 years. You think you're winning because you have a Patagonia vest and a premium LinkedIn subscription. But in the architecture of power, you are just the oil. And oil is meant to be consumed. Level 2. The velvet cage, where the numbers get bigger, but the air gets thinner. Level 2. The velvet cage, the high-functioning serf. Zip code 94105, San Francisco. You've made it. You are a vice president. Your total compensation package is $450,000, half of it in restricted stock units. This is the velvet cage. You aren't paid for your time anymore. You are paid for your compliance. Your wealth is locked. If you leave, you lose the RSU strike price. You are a prisoner of your own potential net worth. Your father died on a Tuesday. You didn't fly back to Ohio. You watched the service on a 13-inch MacBook Pro in a glass-walled conference room while muted. You were waiting for a term sheet from a Tier 1 VC firm to hit your inbox. You think you're rich, but you're a high-income earner, which is the most dangerous thing to be in America. You are the system's favorite battery. You pay the highest marginal tax rates to fund the infrastructure that the billionaire class uses for free. You spend your weekends studying AUM, assets under management. You've moved from managing spreadsheets to managing people who manage spreadsheets. You talk about value add and synergy. These are euphemisms for finding new ways to squeeze the small gears below you. Your health is a line item. You pay $2,400 a month for a boutique medical concierge service because you don't have time to sit in a waiting room. You are optimizing your body like a server rack, keeping it cool enough to avoid a total system failure. The Cage is designed to expand at the same rate as your ambition. Better house in Pacific Heights, private school for the kids you barely see, a Tesla Model S Plaid. You aren't accumulating capital, you are servicing a lifestyle that keeps you tethered to the terminal. You are the engine of the mid-market, powerful yet entirely replaceable. You have just enough to lose to make you obedient. But the real players, they don't have salaries. Level 3, the asset class, where money stops being a medium of exchange and starts becoming a weapon. Level 3, the asset class, the weaponization of math. You no longer check a bank app. You check a dashboard provided by a family office in zip code 33480. Palm Beach, you have crossed the threshold from earner to owner. At this level, money is an obsolete concept. You deal in basis points. A 20 basis point shift in the Fed funds rate isn't a headline. It's a $4 million fluctuation in your liquid net worth. You don't buy things. You acquire assets. You missed your younger brother's wedding. You were in Zurich closing a 1031 exchange on a portfolio of industrial warehouses in the Inland Empire. You sent a $10,000 Tiffany vase. It was cheaper than the capital gains tax you would have triggered by being present. This is the world of stepped-up basis and tax loss harvesting. You haven't paid a meaningful tax rate in 3 fiscal years. You use debt as a shield. You borrow against your portfolio at SOFR plus 100 basis points to fund your life. You are living on other people's money while your own assets compound in a vacuum. You are now a systemic participant. You sit on the boards of companies that dictate the price of insulin or the interest rates on subprime auto loans. You don't see the faces of the people affected by your efficiency mandates. You only see the EBITDA margins. Your personal life is a series of outsourced functions. Your meals are prepared by a nutritionist. Your sleep is tracked by a $500 ring. Your connection with your spouse is a scheduled 45-minute dinner once a week. Anything that cannot be measured by a DCF model is discarded as noise. You are the gatekeeper of capital. You decide which industries live and which are restructured into oblivion. You are the reason the small gears 401k stays flat while the market hits all-time highs. You are the friction. But even here, you are still visible. You still have a name. You still have a footprint. The people who truly run the architecture, they don't even have those. Level 4, the system architect, the point of no return. Level 4, the system architect, the ghost in the code, zip code 10005. You have moved past the flashy glass towers of Midtown. You are now in the bedrock. You are managing director at a firm whose name the public only hears during a congressional hearing, which you never attend. You don't manage money. You manage the systemic pipes. You are the one who designs the algorithmic triggers that execute 10,000 trades before a human can blink. You deal in high-frequency liquidity. You are the house. You have no hobbies. You have no passions. You have a biological shell that requires maintenance. You've had 3 divorces, all settled with ironclad NDAs and offshore trusts. The cost of your career isn't measured in money. It's measured in the total erasure of your humanity. You operate in dark pools. You move billions of dollars in invisible blocks, so the retail small gears never see the crash coming. By the time they check their Robinhood apps, you've already exited the position and pivoted to the next arbitrage opportunity. You understand that the economy is a narrative designed for the evening news. The real economy is a series of mathematical inevitabilities. You know that inflation is a feature, not a bug. A tool to devalue the labor of the lower levels while your hard assets appreciate in real terms. You look at a crowd and see consumer sentiment data. You see default risk. You see a tax base. You have lost the ability to see a person. To you, a human being is just a suboptimal processing unit that occasionally demands a weekend off. You are the architect of the debt-to-GDP ratio. You influence the policy that ensures the small gear can never save enough to escape the velvet cage. You are the reason the ladder is pulled up behind you. You think you are the pinnacle. You think you are the one pulling the strings, but even the architect is a servant to the machine's primary directive, perpetual growth. Level 5. The machine. The final loop. Level 5. The machine. The eternal return. This is the end of the line. There is no person here, no CEO, no architect, no ghost. There is only the algorithm, a self-correcting, cold-blooded feedback loop that exists for the sole purpose of moving decimals to the right. The machine is indifferent to your politics, your protests, and your prayers. It doesn't care about the GDP of nations or the hunger of children. It only cares about alpha. It is the sum total of every 401k contribution, every credit card swipe, and every high-frequency trade ever executed. You spent 40 years climbing. You sacrificed your marriage, your health, and the memory of your daughter's face to reach the top. And what did you find? You found that the top is empty. The seat of power is occupied by a line of code written by someone who died in 1998. In the end, you are not even a memory. You are a legacy asset. Your wealth will be distributed according to a trust document that you paid a lawyer $50,000 to draft, ensuring your children become the new velvet cage prisoners, paralyzed by a stepped-up basis they didn't earn. The machine is perfect because it is permanent. It does not sleep. It does not feel guilt. It simply resets. Meet Elias. Zip code 10004. He just graduated from UChicago. He's carrying a leather briefcase his parents bought him for graduation. He's nervous. He's excited. He thinks he's going to change the world. He doesn't know he's a small gear. He doesn't know his student loans are already being bundled into a derivative and sold to a hedge fund in Greenwich. He thinks he's the pilot. He walks through the revolving doors of the building. The glass reflects the rising sun. The security gate beeps as he scans his new ID. The machine is initialized. The architecture is mapped. Welcome to the system. Welcome to